if you had to, maybe some of us have some tickets already out there on teams to win certain divisions. But let's start off.
But you're coming in today.
Coming in today.
Today.
Not at yesterday's prices.
No.
At today's prices.
Today.
Yesterday's prices are not today's prices, people. The AL East might be arguably the best division in all of baseball. Everybody's over 500. Even the Sox, Stephanie's Sox, are 4 games over, and they're in the cellar. That'd be good enough to be leading some divisions. Now, you see the price tags associated. If you want the Rays to win the division, you got to lay money. Minus $1.35. They are on a 2-game skid right now. That's a skid for the Rays. Orioles, I won't give you, but the books will, and DK will. 11-1, the 3 games back. And then the Jays at plus 330. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Yankees plus 450 and the Sox 25-1. Matt Brown, if you had to make said bet, what would you do?
It'd be the Blue Jays for me at plus 330. The Rays would have been the answer a week ago, and the Rays lost another starting pitcher. It's just, I get it. They have a lot of young talent, but you're going to be asking a lot of young talent over the course of a season. Like, these weren't injuries that happened later on in the season to where one of these young guys can come in. These guys don't have the work. Like, people always forget, the Major League Baseball season's exponentially longer than a collegiate season and exponentially longer than even a minor league season. And these guys don't have the workloads to pitch an entire Major League season. And that's basically what we're asking these guys to have to step up and do for these ones to come in and contribute. If you're going to call up guys from the minors and whatnot, it's a bummer. They've lost 2 really good starting pitchers. And, again, injuries do happen over the course of the year. You have to think at least someone's going to miss some more time coming down the pipe as well. So I think the Blue Jays at plus 330, again, given just today's odds and given what I know heading into, again, what are we, May 14th, I would be taking the plus 330 on the Jays.
All right, I'm betting the Evil Empire. I hate them, but I'm going to bet them 450 for the Yanks. And it's more the opposite. It's going to be the unknown. Because I think Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone know that they are dead men walking, Sean Penn, if they don't turn this thing around this year. I think they are gone if they don't rally. So I look for the Yanks to make a big move before the deadline and fortify both the starting rotation and that lineup. In the Central, if you want the Win Twins, now this is interesting because I mentioned Stephanie's Sox are in last place in the East. They'd be in first place in the Central. Because that's where the Twins are. 4 games over. And right now you got to lay 220?
Yeah.
If you think somebody's going to run down the Twins, I'm not laying that price tag. Which way would you go?
It's the only way I'd do it.
You lay it?
It's the only way I'd do it. These other teams just don't. Listen, the Royals and Tigers are dead. So like they're not even a question. So now it's a 3-way bet. Yep. So now it's a 3-way bet between the Twins, the Guardians, and the White Sox. The White Sox have proven that they just cannot, for whatever reason. I do not know why they can't string wins together. I do not know why this team is as bad as it is. It is the most underperforming team of the last 3 years for sure. I do not understand it, but until I see it with my own eyeballs, then I'm just going to go with what we know. And I think whenever you look at this Twins team, I mean, they're for real. They got a lot of bats, man. And Joey Gallo's hitting the ball again now. And he's not striking out as much. They got a lot to like there in Minnesota. I think some of their younger arms are panning out as well. I would lay it if I had to in this division.
If you made me, I'd take the Guardians at the plus money, plus 290. But boy, what an underwhelming start to the season for Cleveland. You hope the bats wake up a little bit. You're right. It does feel like right now the Twins would be the smarter play, laying the 220. But I'm going to take that plus money, plus 290. And hope that the Guardians, can play better baseball going forward. In the AL West, I think the only play for me here would be the Mariners at plus 450. And I know the Stros feel like the appetizing choice there at plus $1.10. But the Mariners they have not played great baseball to date, only 1 game over. I don't think we believe the Rangers are really long-term, and you can get them at plus 240. Everybody, by the way, is plus money. Just don't bet on the A's. So I'm going to take the Mariners at plus 450 here because, again, we're, 39 games in? We got a lot of baseball to go. I don't think the Rangers are going to be playing at this clip going forward.
Yeah, so right now I would also take the Mariners at 450. I know they lost Robbie Ray before the season even started, basically. Goes out and pitches a couple innings in 1 game, and then they're down. But they've got some really good arms still for the Mariners. And if you look just at the hitting statistics, they're leading the majors right now in K rate. I would like to think that they could chop that down a little bit. They've got some guys that can hit there, and sure, there's a couple of free swingers in there, but I think you could get it to where you're not striking out at the league's highest rate. And then also they've been a bit unlucky. Their BABIP, which is batting average balls in play, is way down at 24th in the league. Like league average is somewhere right at 300. They're down at 282 on batting average balls in play. So they've actually been a little bit unlucky from the hitting standpoint as well. So if they can kind of get those strikeouts down a little bit and then get back up to league average on balls that they're putting in play, that should equal more wins for this team as well. I think at the price given at $450, that's the way I would be looking.
Let's go to the National League, to the senior circuit here. By the way, Mets have tied it 2-2 in D.C., top 7. Mets have been underwhelming. Right now, you can get the Metropolitans at 6-1. That's better than the number I got them at. So they're a game under 500. The Fighting Fish, 2 games under. The Nats, we'll give you 400-1. You think they can do something in the second half? They ain't gonna. But look, they've outperformed so far at just 6 games under. The Phillies have turned things around from a dismal start. They're 7-1. Are you going to lay 370 with the Braves? Because they do feel like a freight train that's running away.
They do. They've had a couple of pitching injuries of late, and you don't know if they're going to be long-term, and you don't know if it's going to stick. I couldn't lay the 370 just given how much season we have left and that little bit of uncertainty. I know I'm probably not going to cash the ticket, but I'd only have to cash it 1 in every 7 chances for it to be a good bet. I'd probably take the 7-1 on the Phillies, and they're going to mash. We know the defense is terrible and the pitching is kind of suspect at best, but if can they bash their way to a division title? I don't know, but that's because that's really their only path to this. But could they do it 1 in 7 chances? Maybe so. So a little bit of fortune goes their way, a little bit of luck goes their way. I think I'd take the 7-1 on the Phillies.
I'd like to stricken from the record for future generations. I would also take the Phillies.
Yeah,
with Bryce Harper back, and they've got a solid 1-2 at the top of that rotation right now. That would be the only way, because they got off to an awful start and they've already rated the ship above 500. Yeah, that's exactly where I'd go. All right, when you look in the Central, and the Brew Crew right now are back to being the betting favorite at $1.55 to win the division. The Pirates were all the buzz. Now they're 11-1. They're a game and a half back. The Cubs under 500 yet only 3 games back plus 550. And there's the elephant in the room, the Redbirds, 10 games under, but yet a smaller price tag than the Cubs. Matt Brown, I'm sorry, Reds. Didn't mean to discount you, but you're 30-1.
So given the number, I think it's just the Brewers. If the Cardinals were the same price as the Cubs, with so much baseball still to play, that might be the way to look. But that number is too short on this. I mean, it's still a big hole to dig out of, right? It is still 7.5 games back, and so I would just need a bigger number here, man. What are they going to do from a pitching standpoint as well? Like Flaherty's been terrible. I mean, give me the 155 on the Brewers.
That's exactly the way I'd go right now. Very quickly, let's round it out. NL West, if you had to make a wager, Dodgers and Padres been doing battle all weekend. Dodgers 10 games back. Everybody's waiting for them to come back. They haven't. You got to lay almost 3-1 if you want to go with LA.
Give me the Padres at 3.
That's the right play.
At plus 310. I think the talent gap between them and the Dodgers is not indicative of that number. And 6-8 again. Lots and lots and lots and lots of baseball to play. Over 100 games still to play, so a lot can happen. Give me the 3-1 on the Padres.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.